She kicked my door so hard it swung open before I could even reach the living room. Karen stood there with her messy binder and a plastic badge she printed at home, yelling, "This is an HOA inspection. Step aside." She didn't wait for permission. She walked straight in like she owned the place, touching my walls, checking my shelves, even pushing my family photos aside with her ugly clipboard. My blood boiled, but I stayed still, because I needed her to go a little further. She kept mumbling rules she invented on the spot. "Your window shades are the wrong shade of beige. Your porch light violates community brightness level." Then she looked at my safe box near the hallway and whispered, "What's inside?" Her voice had that greedy shake, like she expected to find something she could use to throw me out. She bent down and reached for it without even asking. "That's private," I said slowly. She smirked. "Nothing is private when I'm inspecting. You people think you can hide things from the law." She twisted the handle harder. That was the first moment she realized something was wrong, because the box didn't move. I watched her eyes flicker with confusion. It was heavy, too heavy for a normal house safe. She looked back at me, and I noticed her hands shaking a little. What do you keep in here?" I didn't answer. I just stared at her until she got uncomfortable. But instead of backing down, she doubled down, like all Karens do when they feel a little power slipping. She pulled out a fake violation slip and slapped it against my table. "You're getting fined $500. And if you don't cooperate today, I'll have the law remove you from this home by force." I almost laughed, because she had no idea who she was threatening. She stepped deeper into my hallway, right toward the room she shouldn't have touched. She grabbed the doorknob and pushed it open. When she saw the documents on the wall, her voice cracked. What is this? Why do you have official seals everywhere?" I gently closed the door behind her, and her shoulders stiffened. She finally turned around and saw my expression change for the first time. I said it quietly, just enough for her to hear. "You just broke into the home of a federal judge." Her face drained fast, like someone pulled the power out of her body. And before she could breathe, I added, "And everything you've done since you stepped inside is on camera." Her clipboard slipped from her fingers. Her nightmare had just started. She tried to smile like nothing happened, but her lips wouldn't stop shaking. Listen, this is just a routine check. No need to make a big deal." "Routine." I stepped closer. "You kicked my door open." She stumbled back, bumping into the wall of certificates she'd barged in to inspect. Her eyes kept bouncing from seal to seal, like each one punched a new hole in her confidence. "The law. They told me. They said you were hiding things." "You mean rumors," I said. "Rumors you started." Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. She grabbed her cheap badge, held it up like it could save her life, and whispered, "I'm authorized, I can do this." "That badge," I said, "is fake." Her hand fell. For a moment she looked trapped, like she wanted to run but couldn't find the door anymore. Then she did the one thing every entitled Karen does when cornered. She went from scared to angry in one breath. "Fine. If you won't cooperate, I'm calling backup. You think you're so special. I have enforcement coming right now." I raised an eyebrow. "Enforcement?" She lifted her phone with a shaking hand but tried to make her voice sound powerful. "Yes, real law officers. They're already outside." I didn't move. I didn't even look toward the window. I just waited. She clicked a button and barked, "He's resisting. Get in here now." For a moment, there was silence. Then I heard footsteps, heavy ones, coming fast up my porch stairs. Her smirk came back. She thought she'd trapped me. Until the first officer stepped inside, wearing a vest so obviously fake it looked like it was bought at a Halloween store. The second one held a clipboard with "HOA Security Department" written in bold marker. The third one kept adjusting his toy handcuffs like he didn't even know how they worked. Karen pointed at me like she had won a war. "Arrest him. Right now." The first guy hesitated. For what exactly?" "Because I said so," she yelled. I let the moment stretch. I wanted her to feel the silence pressing on her. Then I cleared my throat and said the line that changed the entire room. "Before you touch me, I suggest you check the name on the certificates behind you." The three fake officers turned slowly, saw the federal seals, saw my full name. and the one holding the toy handcuffs immediately dropped them. Karen whispered, barely breathing, "No, no, this can't be real." I stepped closer and said quietly, "You didn't just break into a judge's home, Karen, you brought fake law enforcement with you." Her phone slipped out of her hand and hit the floor. That was the second she realized. She wasn't walking out of this clean. Karen backed into the corner like the walls were closing in on her. The fake officers looked at her, then at me, then at each other, completely lost. One of them whispered, "You didn't say he was a judge," but Karen snapped her fingers to silence him, like she still believed she had any power left. I walked past them slowly, letting every step hit the floor with that heavy, cold echo judges have when they enter a courtroom. "You know what's crazy, Karen?" I said without looking at her. "I warned the wall last month that someone was faking notices. I told them someone was abusing power." I stopped and finally turned. "I didn't know it was you." Her eyes widened like I had just exposed a secret she never thought anyone would find. I only did what was needed. People like you, people like me," I repeated, tilting my head. She froze, realizing she said it too fast, too honestly. The fake officers stepped away from her now, like even they didn't want to be part of whatever storm she had just triggered. Then I saw it, her final desperate move. She charged toward my hallway like she could grab something, anything, to use against me. Her target became my office door. Maybe she thought she'd find something inside to twist the situation. Maybe she thought breaking more laws would somehow erase the ones she already broke. She reached for the handle, but the door didn't budge. I let out a quiet breath. That room opens only with my fingerprint. Karen pulled harder. "It's my right. HOA has the right to inspect every room." "Karen," I said softly, "HOA doesn't even have the right to step inside someone's home." She froze. The fake officers froze. And for the first time, the fear wasn't just on her face, it was in her voice. "Please, we can handle this privately. I'll remove all the fines, I'll delete everything." I shook my head slowly. "You think this is about fines?" The house fell completely silent. Then, from my pocket, I pulled out something she had forgotten existed, the little device clipped to my shirt the moment she broke in. It flashed a red light. Recording. Full audio. Full video. She covered her mouth with both hands. "No, no, no, no." I pressed play for a second, just long enough for her own voice to echo through the room. "Nothing is private when I'm inspecting. You people think you can hide things from the law." The fake officers stepped back. Like her words had burned through the air. Karen collapsed to her knees. I leaned down a little, just enough so only she heard the next line. "I warned you once. You should have never touched my door." Her breathing turned sharp, fast, almost panicked. And then came the sound that made her head snap up. Real sirens, real police, getting louder, coming straight to my driveway. The moment those sirens stopped outside, Karen's whole body locked up. She looked at the fake officers, hoping they'd back her up, but they were already edging toward the door, whispering excuses about being misled. One of them even mouthed "we're sorry" before slipping outside like he wanted no trace of this mess on his record. Karen grabbed my sleeve with trembling fingers. "Please, tell them this was a misunderstanding. I can apologize. I swear I'll never come near your house again." I pulled my arm away gently. "It's not my decision anymore." Real officers stepped into the doorway, hands on their belts, scanning the wreck she had created. Broken doorframe, fake badges, nervous trespassers, and Karen, still on her knees, shaking like she finally understood what consequences feel like. One officer pointed at her badge. "Ma'am, where did you get that?" She stuttered. I'm law security." "No, you're not," I said calmly, handing the real officers my recording device. "She broke into my home. Forced entry, fake law enforcement, false authority, and she threatened me on camera." Karen tried to speak, but her voice cracked like glass. "He's lying. I was doing my job." "HOA said." The officer raised a hand to stop her. "Ma'am, HOA doesn't have any right to enter a private residence. And they definitely don't have a security department." Her mouth opened, closed, then opened again. No sound came out. Another officer looked at her clipboard, the one she had slapped onto my table like a death sentence earlier. He lifted the violation slip and laughed softly. You really wrote. Wrong shade of beige. Karen snatched it back, humiliated. It's a serious rule. Against the law, the officer said. You impersonated an official. That's jail time. That's when she broke. No, please. I didn't know. I thought he was just some stubborn homeowner. I stepped forward. You judged the wrong person, Karen. Her eyes locked on mine, full of the regret she should have had before kicking my door in. The officers placed cuffs on her. Not the toy ones her fake crew brought, but real metal ones that snapped shut with a sharp click. She screamed the moment they tightened. This is illegal. I know my rights. I'm the one who keeps this neighborhood clean. The officers guided her toward the door. Ma'am, you're going to jail for trespassing, impersonating an officer, and making a false report. You're lucky this wasn't worse. She looked back at me, desperate. Say something, please. I walked to the porch as they led her away. The neighbors had already come out, whispering, filming, shaking their heads. Someone yelled, about time. Someone else said, she messed with the wrong guy. As they placed her in the back of the patrol car, she pressed her face to the glass. Her voice was muffled, weak, and cracking hard now. You ruined my life. I shook my head slowly. No, you did that when you stepped inside my house. The police car pulled away. Her screams faded down the street. I stood there for a moment, breathing in the quiet she had stolen from this neighborhood for years. Then I whispered the line that every American watching this story would feel deep. I swore to protect justice, even in my own home. And for the first time since moving here, the neighborhood felt safe again. Subscribe my YouTube channel for more stories.